Hear me? So
Allow me.
today, what's up? I saw this one today on Joro Olumofin's Instagram page. It ties to what we've been talking about for the last few days or so.
Mhm.
I hate to keep flogging this issue of paternity fraud, um, but it's here. It's like we said. It's everywhere you look. So there's this story I'm reading. It says I'm pregnant and I don't know if it's for my husband. Should I keep it? I'll read the story. Hello,
Okay.
Joro. Good morning. My husband and I have been married for a long time. We don't have children. We've been trying for years. Anytime I see my period, I always cry. I touch my period blood and I use it and pray. 3 months ago, I started having an affair with someone I met in the gym.
Hmm. Wait. Did you say the gym?
The gym, yes, the gym. It's a cliche, Abby.
That's another topic for another day. Continue. Continue, my
That's
brother.
a
Continue.
cliche. But
Continue.
yes,
Continue.
it's
Continue.
with all respect, it's Joro Lumofin's page. We're giving all credits to Joro's page, to Joro's Instagram for taking this story. We hope he would mind.
And we'll also put the link in the description so you
We'll
can
also put
read the story and other stories on his platform as well. Thanks. Credit to Joro. Allow me carry on, please.
okay. So, um, carrying an affair with someone I met in the gym. I didn't see my period, and I did a blood test for pregnancy. They
Hmm.
said that I'm pregnant. I started crying. I never thought I would get pregnant again. My husband doesn't want to adopt. I know this baby is not for my husband. What do I do? Do I keep this baby? I will be 40 soon. I don't have time. With this DNA issue everywhere, please, what do you advise? I don't want to abort this God's blessing, right? But I cheated on my husband. Should I abort? Please advise. Question that Joro asked is, should this poster keep the baby?
So the first question I have is this her first child, or does she already have children?
From what I'm gathering here, they have no children. But she says, I never thought I would get pregnant again.
Hmm.
And the word
That's key.
again
Yeah.
there has me wondering what exactly is going on.
The only reason why I asked that question is because of the next sentence that says, my husband does not want to adopt. That's the only reason why I'm asking that question. So, but yeah, I think you've
So
pretty much answered my question.
what I'm seeing here is they have fertility problems. They have no children. The husband is opposed to adoption.
Hmm.
You know what I'm seeing here? And this is one of the unfortunate things about our society, where
Yes.
the man is the one with the problem and we place all
Yes.
the blame on the woman for not being able to produce a child.
Hmm.
You know, in everything we've said about this paternity fraud of an issue, in everything that's been said, we've never really covered the whys when a woman is being accused of being barren. I mean, we live in a patriarchal society where the woman is being
Yes.
accused, you're the barren one. The mother-in-law is saying, my son can have children. My son has children. You're the one that's barren. And the woman has been to doctors. And doctors have said, actually, there's nothing wrong with you.
Hmm.
And how often does the man subject himself to those same tests that the woman is subjected to?
Hmm.
How often is it the case that they accuse the woman of being barren, but maybe the man has a low sperm count? Maybe the man is infertile.
Yeah.
And the man will say, oh, I got several girls pregnant beforehand. I had my girlfriend is pregnant, so and so was pregnant. I had people pregnant for me before. When you start to deep dive, I mean, did this man really get anybody pregnant before?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
And you hear of cases where the man knows that the child is not his, but he's going to keep quiet, because if he has to admit that his wife has brought another baby, another man's child home, then he has to acknowledge that actually he's sterile. In this case, the man doesn't want to adopt. She's not giving us background into
No,
but
we have
clearly
to
she's
infer.
not sterile. Clearly she's not sterile. She's not biologically.
We have to infer. That's why I asked that question, because the way the story is written is intentionally written not to give full details. She doesn't want to give full details. That's why it's written that way, and that's why I asked that question before we do a deep dive into the advice that we're going to give this woman in question. So we can come to a reasonable deduction that they've not had children before. The husband isn't open to adoption. She doesn't want to get pregnant. She never thought she would get pregnant again. So possibly she's gotten pregnant before and possibly lost the child, maybe. And now, she's torn. She's at crossroads. She doesn't know whether she wants to accept this baby, or whether she wants to keep the baby. And she says she doesn't have time with this DNA issue everywhere. So she's admitting that she cheated on her husband. Let me get into it, and allow me. You can give me your thoughts on this particular issue. So for me, it's a couple of questions that I have. So it's more of like, is she emotionally ready to continue the pregnancy and raise a child, irrespective of paternity, right? Whether it's for a husband or for the gym instructor. That's one. Number two, what does she feel about her husband not being the biological father? So if you do find out that your husband is not the biological father, how do you feel about that? And how is your husband going to react? I think you and I are clear on how that's going to be.
Wahala.
It's not going to be a walk in the park once he finds out the child is not. Yeah. So you have to consider the relationship with your husband. Is he the kind of person, irrespective of paternity, somebody that did not agree for adoption would not agree for another man's child? Let's keep it 100 on this platform. He's not going to agree. So that's going to have an impact. You have to consider the impact of that on your husband. For me, a paternity test, if you're going to, so it's one thing. From the way it's written, you don't want to lose the baby. You're leaning towards having the baby, right? You're leaning towards, but you want somebody to strongly tell you don't keep it. But like you said, you're going to be 40 soon. So the chances start to become less and less as you get older. I mean, this is this biological fact. So my question is, is she open to paternity testing after the baby is born? If she decides to have the baby, to determine the biological father, and would knowing the paternity before birth. So you can know the paternity before birth. In some cases, it's more expensive. It's over $1,000, whereas a home kit. I don't even know why I know this thing. A home kit.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yemi, the paternity of the baby is not in question. It is only a question for the man. The woman knows who the father of her child is.
You think
she's not? No, she's clear. She's clear. She says, she's very clear about it, Yemi.
Go to the first page again. She
says, I know this baby is not for my husband.
Boom. So there's no point. There is no point in doing a paternity test. So scratch that, viewers. Scratch what I've just said. There's no point. Let's scratch that from the options. There's no point of her doing a paternity test, because she said it. She knows it's not for him.
It's not her husband's child.
So for me, she's going to have to think about the long-term implications. There are long-term implications for her, for her husband, and for the child, and even for the gym guy who doesn't know at this point. So yeah, she needs to look at those long-term impacts if the marriage with her and her husband were to to go sideways. Is she okay enough to raise this child on her own, assuming the gym instructor might not even also want to be part of this
Yeah, I mean,
equation?
this marriage is over. Oh.
Allow me, wake it up.
Yeah, I mean,
Wake it up.
yeah, but this marriage is over now.
Wake it up.
Yeah, but this marriage is dead. This marriage is over. Look, the marriage is over. Look,
Yeah.
realistically, she's not. You have to feel for this woman. This woman is in a dilemma and a half. All right.
That's why she's written. Yeah,
she's
that's why
been
she's
looking
written this. Yeah.
for a baby for a long time.
Yes.
God knows what she's been through. She's talked about her trauma. She's been crying. She's been praying for a baby and all that. She's touching her menstrual flow and using that as a point of prayer. So she has a choice. I mean, realistically, her choices are: do I confess to my husband I'm having a child with somebody else? What's he going to say? He most likely is going to be like, no, marriage is over. So it looks like this woman's choices are: keep my baby and lose my marriage. Or lose the baby and keep the marriage.
My marriage, yes.
See,
Either way, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
She's going to make a tough choice. A very, very tough choice. So, Yemi, what's your take on it?
My take is she has two options. Yeah? Two. Two options. Two. So option number one, she tells her husband. She risks her marriage, and she probably still doesn't have the child. Right? Option number two.
So, Yemi, I lost you for a second. Go again. Option number one is what?
Option number one, she tells her husband. She risks losing her marriage. And may or may not still have the child. But like our conscience, our conscience will no longer prick her because she's now told her husband whatever comes out of it comes out of it. But she has said what she wants to say. Option number two is she has the baby and forgets about the marriage. She's decided that she's gonna have the baby, and she effectively leaves her marriage. Those are the two options. A third option could be, depending on the kind of husband she has, is that she tells her husband and he allows her to have the child. But I don't see any scenario. Where that is going to work. And there's something that is missing in this story. Is the gym instructor aware? Because you see, when you get yourself into this kind of
Why are you assuming it's the gym instructor? It could just be a regular guy in the gym. You just said a guy in the gym. Doesn't say instructor. You brought your bias. You brought your bias into the room.
Okay. You got me on that one. So there's a muscle man in the gym. It's not a gym instructor.
My
just another
ego.
muscle man. Just another muscle man.
I want to six pack.
It's just another muscle man. Just another muscle man.
I want to get sexy.
No, you're right. A gym is somebody she met at the gym. So probably when she was working on her triceps, that triceps is very hard. that machine that used to just do like this. The guy said, "No, don't do like this.
When she was working the glutes,
or the
glutes, them glutes,
the glutes maximus. You understand now? You understand?
Yeah.
So a guy she met in the gym, that guy is probably not aware. Her husband is not aware. Right now, she's the only one that is aware. I don't see any scenario where she comes out of this with roses.
No.
So she has to prioritize what is most important to her at this point. 1, her marriage. 2, her baby. It's as simple as that. I know it's not a simple advice, but that's what I'm going to say. You're going to have to choose between your marriage or your baby. Now, we don't know enough about her. Does she have a job? Is she going to be financially stable? Is she financially stable? Because she's looking at the real option of raising this child alone. Unless the gym guy, we don't know his circumstances either, unless the gym guy is willing to raise the child with her,
Willing
she
and
has to,
able.
and able. She also has to be willing and able to raise the child and face the real consequence of raising the child alone, and also raise the consequence of uh, um, having
Being
the child,
demonized.
yeah, and not being with her husband anymore. We will never on this channel support that she has the baby and pin it on her husband. No, 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 no. We don't do that
No,
here.
no, no, no,
Yeah, so
no.
that option is out of the cards for us. Lami, that's my take. What's yours?
For me, I mean, it's one of those things that you and I agreed. Look, this marriage is over. In the strict, there's no, the eggs have been
Sorry,
broken.
can you say that
So
again? You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
I said, this marriage is over.
Hmm.
This marriage, the way it was last week, the way it was yesterday is gone.
Hmm.
All right. Somebody is trying to make omelets. They've broken some eggs. You cannot put those eggs back together. She's
Nope.
going to have to come clean with her husband. This, I'm pregnant. I had an affair. It's not your child. Okay? It's the best thing for all three parties concerned. Best for
Yes, sir.
herself, best for the baby, best for the husband.
Hmm.
In a dream scenario, the guy knows he's sterile and agrees to accept this child. It has been done. It's very rare, but there are cases where I do know of a couple of cases where I know of one case. One.
Allow me. One thing. Viewers, every single thing we've talked about on this channel, allow me always know somebody. He always knows
See,
somebody.
it's shocking. It's shocking.
He always knows.
It's shocking.
The guy always, every
It's
time
shocking.
I know somebody. Another
See,
case. Kilo day. Only
I
you.
mean, it's actually quite surprising. I think it's because I was pretty close to both my parents. And there are some things that, look, on my father's deathbed, my wife had come to see him.
Rest in peace, Papa. Rest in peace, Papa.
My wife had come to see him in hospital, and he and I were telling a story, and he said tell a story about someone that we both knew, a family friend.
Okay.
And he was telling this very scandalous story. I mean, for a man who was dying, I mean, and he told the story, and my wife was like that.
She was stunned.
She was stunned. And he just told us, he was like, this is what he told, something that happened some 30 years prior and involved a family friend, And he was telling the story. My wife knew the other family involved in it, and he just told the story like that, and moved on. And he trusted that between the two of us, the story would never get repeated.
Yes.
And so I happen to know a lot of things that I probably shouldn't know, but I know because I was trusted with information on the basis that you would never reveal this thing. So much as I say now, I know something similar. I cannot reveal it. I cannot. Do you know what I'm saying? But the one I'm talking about actually was I actually read it.
You read about it, okay?
Yeah, I read about it.
Okay.
I'm now not sure, but I know that even in this reading, that my dad or my mom was involved in this reading somehow. But bottom line was that the man knew that the woman was pregnant for somebody else.
He knew
that the kids were not his. But he was sterile.
But he knew he was sterile, and his wife knew
he was sterile.
Did the wife
Again, I don't know details, but he knew he was sterile. Wife was pregnant the first time, wife was pregnant the second time. And the man just kept quiet. Because what's the alternative?
But we African men with our egos as well. But has to be added. But because we have ego, doesn't mean you should now come and bring another man's Child.
So again, now
Let us
let's
manage
our
our
shame in the
sterility
house. In
in
the
the
house.
house. How
So,
we
but
want
okay,
to manage it.
but Yemi. Now look at the poor woman who is being demonized. Yoruba will say "agon no birin agon." She's barren,
Hmm.
except that she's not barren. So the woman is forced to carry the shame and the stigma on behalf of the family, but it has nothing to do with her. This woman is perfectly capable of having a child.
But let me take this another um, level. Are we saying that we don't have women that are married to African men that have not left them because of this child issue? Are we saying that the only option is to wait it out and have a child outside? That can't be the only
Yemi,
option.
Yemi,
No, I get what you're
look,
saying,
look,
but I'm
look. So
saying, is that the only option?
remember something. It has to be a case where both parties are willing to acknowledge where the problem starts. But most of the time, they say the woman is at fault. The woman will start
Society,
doing.
it's a
Society will
construct.
blame the woman. It's a
Yeah,
patriarchal construct.
yeah,
So you will blame the woman. She'll go and get tested.
yeah.
They'll come back and say she's fine.
Yes.
Oga, will you go and get tested?
Oga will not go.
If Oga does not agree to get tested, the blame will forever be on the woman. The guy will be like, it's okay, should I go and pregnant somebody else outside? And you never know, he might have kids out there that are not his. But what if he has a kid outside? What if he has a child outside?
You mean this particular guy in this story, or
what if he has a child outside? What if he has a child outside? Let me tell you one. One of my partners and I went to a meeting. And there was this old man that we had a meeting with. And we're talking about family and everything. Somehow the story got to wives, and that he's got 3 wives, he's got 3 children by 3 women, 1 child each. And he wants to marry more women because as far as he's concerned, he had his first child when he was in university. His first child is about 40 years old now.
Okay.
So he had his first child very early in life, all right, when he was in university. Then he had his second child by another woman whom he was married to for 15 years before she had a baby for him. Then he split up with her and married a third woman who also took forever to have a child for him. It's looking like on the average, these women are spending 15 years to have 1 baby. So he wants to go and marry somebody else who will give him children. When we left the meeting, I told my partner, I said, this man is probably sterile. But the first child looks a lot like the man. So what are the odds that his first child, his first son, the one that he had in university, maybe that's the only one that's his biological child. Maybe wife number 2, after being accused of being barren, went and found a solution. Okay? And then wife number 3 is now being told that after all, I have 2 children. Wife number 1 has a child. Wife number 2 has a child. Suppose she then goes out and figures out, okay, you know what, let me try somebody else.
And this man probably has some money.
The man is wealthy. Because for every woman he marries, he buys them a house, he buys them a car, he does a bunch of things. I can't say much more than that. But when we left the meeting, I remember telling my friend, I said, this man might be the reason why these women are not having children. So look, in this specific case we're talking about, this case, I think this woman has 2 options. Look, realistically, she's going to have to decide between this man. She'll tell the man, look, first things first, you have to tell the truth. Okay? I'm having a baby. Well, okay, look, she can decide. Look,
No, the
I'm
first. No,
having
no,
a
no, no.
baby.
That's not the first
So
question. That's not the first part. Allow me. I am pregnant. It's
I'm
the
no.
first.
So the first thing, I'm pregnant. The thing is, she has to ask herself, can my husband handle it? This is scenario A. I tell my husband I'm pregnant, and we acknowledge that he might be the problem, and so we keep the baby. Not likely to happen. What is more likely to happen is she says, I am pregnant, I cheated on you, and the guy starts to shout. And he's so busy shouting, you are this, you are that. He doesn't confront the germane question. How come I couldn't knock this woman up? And this other guy did. Do you understand? So he will not confront his own the problems that he's the weakest link in that equation. So he says, you bitch, you are pregnant, you cheated on me, you are this, you are that. Marriage over.
Yes.
Now, madam, you're almost 40, you have a child on the way. You've said some things. Can you afford to look after this baby on your own?
That is it.
Can the baby daddy afford to chip in? But worst case scenario, you are going to single parent this child. But you're almost 40. Ask yourself a question. What is more important to you? To have this child or to be somebody's wife? Okay? I say this to my friends who are unmarried. When people say, oh, I'm a particular age, I always say to people, you have to ask yourself what's most important to you. Is it to have a husband and a child, or to have a child? What is the family to you? It would be ideal if your family is a husband, a wife, and a child or children. It'd be perfect, right? But marriages end, people get widowed. Marriages end, spouses die. So there's no guarantee that you married somebody that your family will remain husband, wife, and children. We both know the stats are very quite high as to divorce rates for Black people. Divorce rates generally, then divorce rates for Black people, divorce rates for Africans, divorce rates for wherever it is. We don't even know if this family, I think in Nigeria or in the diaspora, we don't know. Okay, but we know something. She had an affair. She's pregnant. The child is not her husband's. They've been trying for a baby for a while. There's no guarantee that they can have a baby together. So decide for yourself, what is most important to you? Is it to be a wife and mother, or to be a mother, or to be a wife? But it's not likely they're going to get all three things anymore. It's not likely you're going to get the husband and the child. The stereotypical family is probably out the window now. So do you want to have an abortion and stick with this man? In which case, you've chosen to be with him and not have a child. Or would you rather have a child and be by yourself? I'm a parent.
Yeah, you know so am I.
I wouldn't trade my children for the world. It's a tough choice, bro. It's a tough choice. It's a tough choice.
It's a tough one.
But if she were my sister, if she were my friend, I would be saying, you're not alone. But go and sit down with your family unit. Hopefully you're from a good family and they can support you. But I think when the chips are down, this woman is going to pick her child over her marriage.
Yes, I'm leaning towards that as well. Yeah.
I think she's going to decide that. So, you know what? They're going to call you names. They're going to call you everything. They're going to call you a bitch, a cheese. They're going to call you a variety of names. But when you hold that child, that will come and go. When you hold that child in your hands, when you hold that baby in your hands, and in fact, when you see the first ultrasound scan, and when you eventually hold that baby, when you feel that baby kick,
the joys the
those
joys.
joys, those joys. And when you finally hold that child in your hands, my children are named for the first thought in my head when I was told we were pregnant. And it's a moment that I cannot replicate.
No, you
I remember
can't.
where I was the first each time. And so I'm going to say to this woman, this child is life. Me, I'm going to say, pick your baby. Pick your baby.
But tell your husband. But tell your husband.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. In any case, the second she chooses to,
because
you have to start with the truth. Yeah. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You start from the truth. Man, I am pregnant. Because if you leave the man with the baby, he's going to come after you and he'll see that you're pregnant and he'll think you went away with his child. Mm-hmm. So that secret is impossible to hide a child. If she chooses to leave and not tell him, the man will come and look for her. And you'll find out that she's pregnant. And he will attempt to get custody of that child. She will have no choice. Yoruba will say, Igba oni ma ku oni ku. Ọ̀rọ̀ ta ní kí baba má gbọ́, baba ló máa dá. Look, when will death not die? When will do not die not die? When will death not come? It's inevitable. And the matter that we think we're going to hide from the father of the house will ultimately end up being settled by the man of the house. Ọ̀rọ̀ ta ní kí baba má gbọ́, baba ló máa dájọ́ yẹn.
Absolutely.
So you might as well just come clean. Deal with it. Go to your family. Tell them he is going to call you names, but you have chosen to be a mother, and you have picked motherhood over everything else.
Okay, I think we're gonna I think we've exhausted this one. Lami has concluded. I've concluded. If you're new to our channel, please like this first and foremost. It helps the algorithm to recommend this, and it encourages us as well to spend time. You people who want to see me wear my and still allow me to wear his own. You want us to talk and dissect. Yeah. You want us to talk and dissect issues, and we want to do this more regularly. It will also encourage us. So give us a like, subscribe, and share this to as many people as possible. And let's make this engaging and make it a two-way street. So leave your comments as well on this particular case. Do you think the woman should have the child? Do you think she should have the child and not tell her husband? Do you think she should tell her husband? And do you think she should not have the child? Is your stuff going to come from the perspective of the gym guy? Whatever your comment is, please leave it down below. We'd like to read your comments as well. Lami, any last thoughts before we close?
No, it's fine. Thank you. However, we are not going to agree with not telling him. You're free to recommend that she doesn't tell him, but we, as two grown men, we will read your advice, but we'll immediately say we do not agree. We're not agree.
Yep.
We don't agree. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Please send your comments to twogrownmen@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much. Once again, like, share, comment, subscribe. Have a good night.
Bye.